You've got a car payment coming up that you can't make, or maybe you can make it, but you don't want to. You just want to spend the money on something else more fun. Well, I'm here to tell you some solutions to that problem. As with all things financial, I'm just a guy on YouTube, so double check this information for your own circumstances. With all these options, the best thing to do is to get comfortable is calling the bank or whoever gave you the loan. You got to get used to talking to them, get out of your comfort zone. It's not fun to call people and ask for what you can do to not pay your loan. But just get comfortable doing it. It doesn't matter. Their whole job is to talk to people who can't pay their loan, so they don't care. Ultimately, it's your money. I'm going to go through the options from easiest to hardest. So starting off with the easiest, the first option that you can do is look at the terms of your loan agreement to see if you get any flex time in your payment. So for instance, a lot of payments, they have a due date, but you don't actually pay a penalty fee or have it reported to credit bureaus or hurt your credit until like the 7th or 15th day. And in your credit agreement or by calling them, they'll outline that for you. So you can skip your due date and just pay it by that day of your penalty and it'll be like you paid it on time. The second option is some banks or places that issue loans, they'll allow you to skip payments. You usually have to fill out an application and you might have to pay a small fee like 25, 30 bucks. But that's gonna be usually less than your late fee, and also it's gonna be much better than hurting your credit by a late payment. So contact your bank or go online to your bank and they'll have information for you there and tell you what you need to do. I know with the credit union I go through, you're allowed to miss 2 non-consecutive payments a year by just filling out a form. So it's simple. You just have to know ahead of time that you're gonna miss your payment. So that way you have time to process the paperwork. Third option, and this can get costly from an interest perspective, is take money from a different source, like if you have a credit card or any other line of credit where you have access to cash, you can take that and put it towards your car payment before it's late. What this accomplishes is it makes it so your payment's on time, which is important because that's the biggest contributor to your credit score. So you'll end up paying more down the road if you screw up your credit from not paying your bills on time. The next option is you can play around with your due date a little bit. You're usually allowed to move your due date of your car loan a certain amount of times a year. You can either do that through an online application process or through calling them. You might be thinking, well, how does that help me? I still have the money due. But there's 2 options with that. What you can do is move the due date so it's further into the future by, like 3 weeks. And then by the time it processes, instead of your payment being 30 days from your last one, it's 30 days plus, 3 weeks or what you moved it to. So that gives you relief for that month. Another option is when you get close to your due date, move it back in time. And this is where you'll want to talk to the bank to make sure, but usually they'll want to have like 30 days in between payments. So if you move it back in time, it's going to go through a whole billing cycle before it resets. So you're going to have a month where you don't make a payment, and then it'll be due on the earlier date that following month. So that way you're going to have a month where you're not making a payment. You just have to talk to the bank and see how it works and see what you can do to move your payment. For that one though, you usually have to plan a little bit ahead because it'll take them time to process it. So it may not hit that month's payment. It may hit the next month's payment. The final option, which is by far the hardest, is if you know you're in the market for a different car, is to line up the purchase of that vehicle with when your payment's due. So let's say you're gonna buy a car anyways, you have a payment due in a week, and you have decent credit, so you don't need to put anything down and still get a good interest rate. What you can do is go and buy that car, sell yours or trade it in at that same time. Then your payment on the new car is not going to be due until the next month. You tell the bank that you sold your car and the payoff's coming, and you won't have to make the payment for that month for your old car. So you're going 2 months without making a payment then. Like I said, that's a special circumstance where you're in the market for a new vehicle, because I wouldn't advise just selling your car just because you have a payment due. But with all things, you'll want to just make sure you talk to your bank, figure out what rules you can use that'll help you in that situation. Thanks for watching, and I hope these strategies are helpful for you.